Sanibonani, dumelang malweni, shapkunjani, lami kama usiboniso Sizo wakomnikazi Sibongo, and this is my views, my expressions. Uma ukuthi uyaqala ukusijoyina, please do subscribe, share, utshele nabangazi ukuthi we are here and sikuphathele okungaphathwa abaningi. And we're here today. Hey, we haven't been here in a while, man. Hey, sesabantu basePitori, watsiba ke rata kubua Sisuthu.
My new name is Gomel.
The only thing that is missing at the Mamelodi Sundowns is a Gomel. My friends, igama lami usiboniso Sizo wakomnikazi Sibongo, and akabi ngedwa as usual. Ngiphethe coach Mphela. Coach Mphela kuthiwa yena umfana wase North West. Ukayi la.
Likai mna.
Hayi ngithengi. On my left I've got Msaipo Sundowns.
Good evening, Bafesu. This is my views, my expressions, and we are looking at the very critical game coming in on Sunday. Second leg, an away game for Sundowns against a seemingly very motivated Pyramids team.
We are here sisabingelela wena usujahile indaba. Ujahile le ndaba.
Happy belated birthday.
How ujahile le ndaba? But sambingelela sozothi happy birthday. Hey, where's Russia?
I don't recognize birthdays.
Why? Go on.
Thank you for the messages.
How old are you now?
I'm getting 22 now.
22.
Yeah. No, other sales. Come on, somebody.
Isn't those about 2000 vele siyakwazi lokho.
Yeah, I'm getting 22. Yeah.
You know, most of the time the discussion is Sundowns support abantu abancane who started supporting Mamelodi Sundowns in 2016. And when you are wearing this jersey, and this is not 2016 jersey, because if I think last time we discussed this, ngithi mina yazi mangibona Theodore ngicabanga Ezrom Nyandoro ngicabanga the big guns back then.
I get now fans of 2K, so everyone is allowed to support any team. You go to Chiefs, you'll find them 2K. You go to Sundowns, who have been supporting this team for years. So there shouldn't even be a debate which a certain team is supported by who. The generation will always be having those divisions. This is a Sandawana, this is a Buccaneer, this is a Mtaung. So some discussions are not worthy to be engaged in.
So is that the same mentality even applied to the teams like Manchester City, Pesce?
Well, Man City doesn't have a lot of history. Before 2010, there was no Manchester City.
There was Manchester City. There has always been Manchester City. And this is the only thing that engihlezi ngiyibanga now, this hypocrisy. When it comes to Sundowns, abantu mabesho kanjalo, you have this response. But when it comes to Man City, ngoba wena women you Man City just enjoy a team. Manchester City has always been there. It's just that they never won cups.
But you tell me, before 2010, what was their impact in the English football and the European football before 2010?
To play the game.
Then, what's the difference between them and maybe Barocca or SuperSport? SuperSport is even bigger than Manchester City because they won the league before that.
Well, we're not here about Manchester City. As you have alluded earlier on, we are here about Mamelodi Sundowns versus Pyramids, a very, very big game in the continent, and we went to watch the game at Loftus Stadium. The hopes were very high. Everybody was talking about this spectacular game, and Mamelodi Sundowns is going to do well. Everybody expected many goals, but that wasn't the case at Loftus Stadium. So what we saw there was a draw, 1-1, and with Pyramids having an advantage of an away goal. So now Mamelodi Sundowns on the first is the second leg of this final. Mamelodi Sundowns is going to Egypt to play a Pyramids on this huge game. Mpele, tell us, what is the expectation this time around? Is the energy still as up as it was when we were going to Elofta Stadium?
Yeah, humidity. Above all, now the feet is on the ground. Now there is no overconfidence. Now, but at the same time, there is a determination, there is a will, there is a focus. So now, I think, in my opinion, Sundowns is even more dangerous because they know Guti. It's not easy to get into the final of Champions League, and they also know that the football gods, if you look at the history of Champions League, it always favors those who have previously won it most of the time. Sometimes, yes, you can fluke it, but it's not easy. Usually, the teams that usually go to the semi-finals are the one of the same teams. It's always Al Sundowns, Esperance, Wydad, or something. So here is the first time for Pyramid. So when you look at the track record, okay, things should be aligned. The stars should be aligning for Sundowns. But the game at Pretoria, it was just 1-1. And then now, but it was just the first half because now this is going to be 90 minutes, total different ball game. Although, okay, I have my perception on how the game will pan out. But it's a total different ball game, so which the coach will need to plan well and plan accordingly, and also respond to the questions that the Pyramid will be asking, and vice versa. And then, but at the end of the day, Sundowns should try by all means to make sure that they get a goal, so that they can lift this cup. But what I know, Pyramid will score away, and what I know, Sundowns will score. I think do a preview of the Champions League. I've always been saying Pyramid will score. Yeah, Pyramid will score, Baba will score, and then Pyramid will play an open game always.
Okay, maybe I remember you saying that when they were playing a semi-final with the Orlando Pirates, and you said that they were going to score, and they indeed score. But now I think it's a different ball game because now it's a final. You have an advantage, so. And most of the time, when it comes to CAF Champions League, the teams will say, hey, close the door if you have the advantage. You manage the game until you win.
The personnel of, when I've been watching Pyramid closely, the personnel and the coach, the type of a coach of a Pyramid is the coach that go aggressive at you no matter what. He doesn't care that you're playing home or you're playing away. So now it's where he needs to be told a lesson. When you're playing in Champions League, you need to punch smart, not just go all out, because that's how the Champions League has been. Both European Champions League and the African Champions League, it's always one and the same thing. Although sometimes you can fluke it, but you'll stay 7 years without winning it when you are approaching the games that way.
Openly.
Yeah.
Msai, we speak about Pyramids, and just the day before yesterday, Al were called the champions of the Egyptian Premier League. And what has transpired is that the Pyramids was also celebrating on the side that they've won the league, because there is this issue between Al and Zamalek, of which it's issue that by the belief of Pyramids would say that issue had not been decided, because Al must be deducted some points, which will then put Pyramids up above Al. But we saw Al being given a trophy and there were celebrations. So that is to say Pyramids are not the champion. So wouldn't that maybe defeative towards this final that you're going to see on Sunday? Or it's going to give them the moral boost? What might happen here?
Yeah, welcome to Africa. Yeah, welcome to African football. You check the landscape of African football. You go down south to north, east to west. come end of the season, there's always that drama, whether in the lower divisions or in the Premier Leagues. So here we go again. We are in the Egyptian Premier League. There's this saga between Zamalek, Pyramids, and then Al Ahly. At some point, Pyramids looked like they were untouchable. And then suddenly they dropped point until Al Ahly catched up and they leapfrogged them in terms of points. And then now Pyramids are now more reliant on the issue of this game between Al Ahly and Zamalek, where Al Ahly refused to go and play, and they were docked those 3 points. But on the side of Pyramids, they have a belief that Al Ahly should be docked 6 points, which will give them an advantage as compared to the current advantage that Al Ahly has of 2 points. So as a Sundowns person, you don't want to focus on that, but you also have this thing, yokuthi maybe, just maybe, izohlala emakhandabo. Maybe they won't be able to transmit from that league saga to the Champions League. You are hoping for that, but at the same time, to be on a safer side, you don't think about that. You just focus on your game and try and prepare as much as possible. Read the dynamics of Pyramids and read their trends in terms of attacking and defending. And of course, as Coach Mpela said, these guys, they don't play a cowardice game. They play openly. They don't care where they play, home or away. Maybe it's a fact that there is I mean, maybe that's the contributing factor to that is maybe could be the fact that they seemingly don't have fans. I was shocked. I was hoping yesterday they would have fans. I saw them against Pirates. They had no fans. I saw them against Sundowns last season. They had no fans. So initially I had thought that is one of those issues where in the Arab nations, 1 or 2 games, these teams get banned for attendance of fans. But when I followed up, I realized that they don't have fans. So maybe it's their advantage to say then that plays into your minds. Whatever is said outside, I shine and I came up. So with those factors, as I said, Sundowns need to focus on themselves. They need to know how they consider it, and they need to minimize the ball, the box entries that the Egyptians Pyramids made back at home.
So Sipho speaks about the focusing on their game. Focusing on their game plan and ensure that they execute in Mamelodi Sundowns. So now we went to the first leg of this final and we saw a pretty much number of attacking players coming in, but we saw Matthews being dropped at some point for Adams just to balance the middle field, I presume. And then there were substitutions that were made towards the end, of which there was so much on the talking point when we were there in Pretoria, the Shalulile and Ubili Neomaema. And many people thought that she should have been given an opportunity to come in and play on that game just to ensure maybe the stability, because he played those forward passes, he's able to keep the ball and control the tempo of the game. But the coach did not put in Umshish. So that triggered a lot Gubantu Abaningi. So as we saw so many discussions on TV, on podcast about Umshish. So now you're going to this game. What is your game plan as the coach?
You know, when I'm going to this game, I'm going half attack. It's half attack, it's half defense. Because when we're approaching this game, I need to make sure I don't concede. Because I concede 1 goal, I'm dead. I'm dead psychologically, mentally, I will be out. And then now, the pyramid, it means I'll be playing to their hands, because it means I have to go out aggressively and then and put myself at the risk of conceding. So, because I know that pyramid will play their 4-3-3, and then I know that pyramid will always want to lock the midfield. and then the pyramid will be wanting to go wide areas, and then they put the crosses. So now that's why I will start with Divine Lunga, 83, and then I tell him that don't overlap. Then I'll start with Umtaupe because I know that there is no 1v1 that is going to surpass him. Then I'll have Ulebusa no Lokosa no Grant because they've been performing well. Then I'll be having Umkwena. First half, I will just attack. I'll have Umkwena and have Repero and have Marcelo Allende no Tembazwane ku tip of the diamond. I will be playing E442 diamond, and then play with Ushalulile and play with also Reinas. Make sure that I overload the midfield so that I can be able to control the midfield. That's why I will be playing E442 diamond, and then occasionally, and then we'll find that maybe Umta will overlap, and then they will shift, and then we'll go and try to do ama cutbacks, and then Divine Lunga abe half full back. It means not crossing maybe the center line or only overlap towards the center line, but it doesn't go for crosses unless the shape or it allows, so that maybe you can have errors defense, and then I see that I'm getting a goal, and then whenever I am getting a goal, even if I'm getting one goal, then now maybe I take out Ulo. Maybe I take out Marcelo. Maybe I put Ulo. Or I take out Repero, leave Marcelo and put Opas, making sure that I stabilize the midfield. Maybe I take out Shalulile and leave Reinas, maybe put Ulo Utapelo Mrena, so that I can play maybe a low block, so that I can be able to go on my counter attacks. Maybe by that time, and then maybe I can even around 60-70 minutes, I would even sacrifice maybe Lokuzan, Tembazwane, and maybe put to Adams so that he can have those, because he has an eye, he has a good technique of those killer passes. And then I'll see, then I'm just going on a counter, and then see Ureinas with the speed and cheating behind the defense, and Umrena cannot find in the goals behind the defense, because Umrena is proven that against these Islamic guys, he always finds the goals, especially away. So I'm banking on that he can give us something. But defensively, I would make sure that I lock everything, and then lock the midfield. So that even when they have my crosses, I'm having Divine Lung, and they will deal with the crosses, and I'm having Williams, and then I will be dealing with the crosses and try to minimize this thing. When I'm having Umren, I know that he will be able to defend, and then we just, because when you look at the midfield with Opas and Umgwen, there's nothing that is going to penetrate you in the heart of the midfield. And then on the wings, we will be having Umgwen on the other side, and then on the other side we have Marcelo, because Marcelo will always give you 100% and make sure that they intimidate Divine Lunga. He's very good. So that's my approach of the game. So when I'm saying the game, because I know they will be an open game, so Nama will dominate them. Whenever I'm having the ball, I make sure that I'm dominating them, then I will just get that goal, because I don't even need many goals. I just get one goal, then after that I just close the game. Same time, I won't even wait, because one of the things that hurt Sundowns there at Loftus is this thing of, you already have, you can see that now it's 70-80 minutes, you already have a goal, but you still put Mayem, you still put Lokozan or Tapel, or even the let's up Shalulile. It was wrong, because you have Shalulile there, but now you're playing a 5-4-1. Shalulile, you want him to play with the crosses, want us to get set pieces so that Shalulile can go in between the defenders and get the goals. So, but at the time there were no long balls. So I didn't understand what was the coach trying to do, because the person that was giving them had time. Ureinas, for me, Ureinas will play 90 minutes there. Because when Ureinas will need that one chance behind the defense, I'm telling you.
Keep some center back at discipline, ayaxhamalaza nje yazi ngabona immediately phuma lapha ePretoria, ngabona uNumber 4 wabe se uNumber 6 eseshaya amaphasa amabi lapha. So you need umuntu noma engaba ngana impact, but because bayazi threat yakhe angeke bakhululeke. So it's -2 men up. At least you can now have more space in the middle to try and attack. But Reynolds is one of the players that I believe would just have him the entire game. He will definitely find the chance. And then Saleh okay, some appreciator is good, but this is another stage.
I hear you, Sipho. But now let us go to the Pyramids. And Umpela says, and Niafumelan, the Pyramids is playing an open game. Yeah. So they are going to play an open game because they want to score goals, just like they did with Pirates. But I beg to differ. Oguti, I don't think they will be playing that open game, because I think they saw what Pirates did when they were playing open game. Pirates managed to get 2 goals, even though they were playing away from home, which was risky to them as the Pyramids. If they had the game ended in that 2-1 or 2-2, it would have been a disaster for them. So now, what is the game plan? Noting what has transpired in the game against the Pirates, what is their game plan coming to this second leg of the final, also considering that they have an away goal advantage?
The coach is too arrogant. I don't think you continue in the world. He's gonna always go to games as imposed because he is hyperactive. And from the game that I've watched of the Pyramids, they are not a team that is going to sit it back and watch at you. So it's even worse. It's a home game for Bono. Yes, they have a away goal advantage, but coming at home, they don't want to be away where they will be defending and all that, because I think their wings are more dangerous when they have the ball. They don't have Umuntu who's quick on counter attacks. They want to have more of a baller, and they will put in those crosses, either outswing, in swing crosses or outswing crosses. But they will always want to try and give the ball inside the box for Umayele and this guy Erkhatre. Well, go with that, who eventually scored against Sundowns. So I think they're gonna have more of the ball, and I saw their centre backs, they are comfortable on the ball when they have the space. I saw that in the later stages of the first leg, which I didn't see when Reiners was still around. They didn't want to start the ball from the back because Ube was Ukamalas and try to counter press them. So Bazos and they have Uchibi on the right, very good center right back, and this guy Uhamti on the left. He also comes very lively on the left flank. And he would want to put more pressure on Kulusum Tau, because they don't want to see Kulusum Tau coming up, because he's very dangerous with some interplays on the wings, trying to play cutbacks for either Ribeiro or Reines, who will be coming in from the deep role as a number 10 to try and add the advantage in the box. So with those factors, and most importantly, the attitude of that coach is something else. He never wants to be seen as a coward. I think he wants to stamp the authorities for a pyramid.
Always wants to be superior.
Yeah. He's that type of a coach. So with those factors, we are going to see Iken Ngobzana Ngepong.
Okay, I hear you mentioning, or you highlighting certain players, and you leave your Maele, you leave your in the center your Traore, and those are the key players that one needs to look into coming to this game.
Of course, yeah. Bloody Traore is a dictator, and there's I can't remember his name. There's a number 30 there.
Yeah. But fortunately, there was Mdao there to keep the men down.
Yeah, that guy, they called who? Lashin.
Yeah,
those guys are very good in the middle of the park. But there's Umpele Shilo. Sundowns will have to come with the plan who's Bazam overload center guys. With Umayele, Njoba Bengshilo, if we guide their wings, and these guys from deep, but more especially their wings, you're already done with Tumayele, because I think he's more reliant on his supply. He's not one player who's going to come deep and try and play ball. I haven't seen much of that coming from him, although he may get those few chances coming from deep, but he's more reliant on the crosses. I'm not sure if Fati is going to be there. He was not there in Pretoria. He got a late injury. I don't know if the Nigerian player is going to be there, but we need to try and minimize their crossing chances and ensure that we score, guys. Let's not wait for these guys to score. Let's score. At least if you can get one goal, they will have to score two. If they score two, we score one. They still need to score two. So I'm hoping Sundowns gets at least 2 goals on this game, because that would give them maybe three advantages of a 2-0, of a 2-1, and of a 2-2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you are jumping there, and I was still going to go there, but let us summarize now. Let us wrap it up. Mpela, we are going to this game. We would like to know your score prediction and who is taking it.
2-2. Sundowns is taking it, because I'm banking on the mentality of the coach of a pyramid, not that experience when it comes to such games, the finals and the Champions League, especially the Champions League. So with them being the debutants on the Champions League, I think Sundowns might have an edge if they're going to approach the game the way Champions League game should be approached, and play a reinforced defense if there need be, and play the moments of the game. So because that coach he doesn't play the moments, and then the personnel of the type of the personnel he has, it's always attacking and aggressive players. So they highly consider to play a low block. So they rely on a mid block and a high block, because I was also surprised here in Pretoria when they were just going aggressive at our defense of the Sundowns. So you could see that they wanted to impose, they wanted to frustrate, because they looked at the midfields. They make sure that Mkwena and Marcelo they don't play the ball, so that they can force some turnovers and then they come direct. So but at the same time there were also spaces behind, because obviously they were playing a high line midfield. They were playing a high line. They were having a bridge on top of centre backs and Sundowns. It means there was a space behind the defense, of which it would whenever the ball is taken to Reinas, he will create the gaps in the midfield which need to be filled. So those are the moments, but I'm seeing 2-2, and then Sundowns will clean sheet 2-2.
Well, Mpela uthi iya.
If man, I'm serious.
How?
No, if it's not a 1-0 for Sundowns, as I said, man, I will score 1 goal and lock the game and close the shop, because they have to score. If other than that, we need to go to penalties. But Sundowns needs to go all out first half, not all out. Punch smart, you try and get the goal. Even if it's 60 minutes, you don't get the goal. You keep on trying. I'm saying.
All out or punch smart?
Aye, punch smart. No, not all out. Aye. All out. You punch smart. Even if it's 60 minutes, you just be patient. The goal will come. You do those changes I've been telling you about. Then Sundowns will make it 1-0 or 2-2 draw.
And one thing, Sundowns does not go to Egypt and be good boys. There's no good boy in the Champions League.
Yeah.
If you get an advantage, there's plenty of dirty tricks that you can apply to try and wind up the clock.
But that is not our tradition. I've never seen that.
I don't know. Did you watch AFL? The boys stayed for 12 minutes. 12 minutes there at the corner. So those things, they do happen. That's what I was saying, because these ones are debutants. Mentality, they don't have this experience of knowing how to kill the game. Even their coach.
But they have a lot of experienced players. There's former Alachen with that players.
Yeah, but they don't do those things. Yeah. They don't do those tricks.
One thing about them. Joba ngisho coach wabo hyperactive. We can only wish and hope ukuthi hyperactive and then lack of experience striking, and then he gets a disadvantage out of that. But yeah, now une pride cool. I don't think he will want to be seen like a coward. When born, he's always there.
Yeah. So what is your So what is your score prediction?
I want to watch his press conference tomorrow. Yeah, no, I'm hoping for a 1-0 for Sundowns.
1-0 for Sundowns. Buffetto is confirmed on the 1st at 7 p.m. We will be there watching, and we are going to be watching at Oceans Mall. We'll also have our eye at the Aces and South Beach. So those places, if you are around Durban, please make sure that you pull up, and we want to interview you. Season now ukuthi futhi ubona kanjani. Oceans Mall, but ibani Piazza or Piazza, that's big screen lapayana. We will be there too, and we will be talking to you. Sizwe ukuthi igame ihamba kanjani.
So it's Oceans Mall and Ace
Butchery in South Beach.
Ekakasini, South Beach, just opposite to KFC. Yeah, but Ekakasini is the most popular. Yeah, I'm sure I want to get directions. So Mamelodi win. There's two places as Cornet win. Acting which is occupied as a band who are wishing for Sundowns to win.
Yeah. So it's up to you. Mawuthi when you say to the Aces Butchery, you can go there. Amasanda Wanazobe corner, there's a big screen there for you. And Mawuthi, you along the side, Yabo Mhlanga, you know, those places where some of us, you know. Okay, then you can always come to Oceans Mall and enjoy the game there. Well, yeah, we want you. We want everyone to come. But let's go over to Bell. Last words from you.
Sundowns should make sure that they win this cup. If they don't win this cup, Cardoso should leave.
Oh, don't cheat.
Yeah, no, Machita, they must remember everyone is hungry. They are hungry, the supporters are hungry, the port is hungry, the pitch is hungry, the Yellow Nation is hungry.
Utuko Jagahambe. Ziyahamba in the next 2 weeks, or next week is here. We Club World Cup. So siya no banu Club World Cup no Coach Steve.
Al Ali Iago Club World Cup with Coach Rivero. I don't care who he is, but Cardoso, if he failed to win, because we've seen the previous coaches, they've been fired if they don't win this Champions League. So they must follow the suit.
Well, that's just about it. It's his views, but what I know is that this is my views, my expressions. Please do subscribe, share, comment, from me now, Atlangane Oceans Mall, no Masitlangane at the Aces on Sunday, the 1st of June at 7 p.m. I will be there, and I hope you will be there. We're out of here.